Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I am an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. The world around Hope Logan Spencer felt as though it was closing in with every passing hour, and despite the comforting words coming from Katie Logan Spencer, the storm gathering on the horizon seemed impossible to ignore. Katie continued to reassure her niece that everything was going to be fine, speaking with the confidence of someone determined to see Hope succeed no matter what obstacles stood in her way. Yet even as she offered support and encouragement, Katie was preparing to make an announcement that would push events forward so quickly that there would be no opportunity for second thoughts. Hope listened carefully, wanting desperately to believe that everything would work out in the end, but deep down, she knew the truth was far more complicated. The weight of what was coming pressed heavily on her shoulders because she understood exactly what was at stake. More than a business decision, more than a fashion debut, this was a choice that threatened to shake one of the most important relationships in her life. The bond she shared with Brooke Logan Forrester had always been strong, but now Hope feared it could be shattered the moment her mother discovered the truth about her new professional path. Katie, however, saw things differently. From her perspective, Brooke would eventually come around and recognize that Hope was making a decision that could transform her future for the better. Katie firmly believed that a loving mother should be able to support her daughter, especially when that daughter was taking control of her own destiny and pursuing an opportunity with enormous potential. If Brooke reacted badly, Katie felt that responsibility would fall squarely on Brooke's shoulders rather than Hope's. In Katie's eyes, Hope deserved encouragement, not criticism, and she remained determined to stand behind her every step of the way. But while Katie spoke from a place of optimism and conviction, Hope could not escape the uneasy feeling twisting inside her. She knew her mother too well. She knew the intensity of Brooke's emotions, the strength of her opinions, and the explosive reaction that could erupt once the truth finally came to light. Every reassurance Katie offered was met with the same silent fear lingering in Hope's heart, the certainty that an emotional reckoning was drawing closer by the minute. Even so, Hope understood that delaying the inevitable would accomplish nothing. The situation had already moved beyond the point where hesitation could change the outcome. She couldn't continue pretending that hope for the future was preparing for a relaunch while simultaneously developing an entirely new collection at Logan. The contradiction was becoming impossible to hide, and eventually everyone would learn what she had been working toward behind the scenes. That realization left her with only one option: move forward and face whatever consequences followed. The time had come to step into the spotlight and reveal the truth through action rather than words. Hope knew the fallout might be painful, but she also believed that some opportunities only come once in a lifetime. If she allowed fear to stop her now, she could lose everything she had worked so hard to build. That was when Katie made the decision that changed everything. With the confidence of a leader ready to launch a major event, she officially set the date for the debut of Hope's new collection. The announcement carried tremendous significance because the fashion showcase was not months away or even weeks away. It was only days from becoming reality. Suddenly, the future that had felt distant became immediate. Every remaining hour now mattered. Every unfinished detail would need attention. Every lingering doubt would have to be pushed aside. Katie effectively sealed Hope's fate by putting a firm deadline in place, ensuring that there would be no retreat and no postponement. The wheels were now in motion, and they would continue turning whether Hope felt ready or not. As preparations accelerated, Katie took another bold step by making sure the public would soon hear the news as well. Plans were set in motion for a press release announcing the next major development at Logan and promoting the highly anticipated fashion show. The moment that release reached the media, everything would become official. The secrecy would end. The speculation would begin. And most importantly, there would be absolutely no turning back. The announcement would send shockwaves through the fashion world while simultaneously setting the stage for a deeply personal family conflict. Hope understood that once the story became public, she would have no choice but to stay committed to the path she had chosen. Any damage caused by Brooke's reaction would have to be addressed afterward. For now, all she could do was move forward and hope that eventually her mother would understand why she had taken such a dramatic leap. Meanwhile, another layer of Logan family drama was quietly unfolding. Donna Logan Forrester found herself pulled back into the center of the family's emotional chaos, caught between competing loyalties and conflicting truths. On one side stood Brooke, who remained blissfully convinced that Hope would somehow return to Forrester Creations, a future that existed only in her imagination. Brooke enthusiastically spoke about possibilities that were never going to happen, unaware that reality was preparing to deliver a stunning surprise. On the other side stood Katie, who was actively preparing what many would soon view as the fashion shocker of the century. As these two very different visions of Hope's future moved toward a collision course, Donna found herself trapped in the middle, watching events unfold with growing concern. The tension hanging over the Logan sisters grew heavier with every passing moment, creating an atmosphere where one revelation could change everything. Elsewhere, a very different mood was taking shape around Bill Spencer. While uncertainty and anxiety dominated Hope's world, Bill found himself riding a wave of excitement and anticipation. His spirits soared after Wyatt Spencer stepped forward with an extraordinary gift, the Hope for the Future diamond. The timing could not have been more perfect. Bill immediately recognized the opportunity in front of him and began envisioning how the dazzling gem could be used to generate attention and excitement surrounding Hope's arrival at Katie's fashion house. In his mind, the diamond was more than a beautiful treasure. It was a powerful symbol, a publicity magnet capable of attracting headlines and creating buzz throughout the industry. The possibilities seemed endless, and Bill was eager to capitalize on every one of them. As plans continued to develop, questions remained about exactly how Bill intended to leverage the diamond to maximize public interest. Yet one thing was clear: he was fully committed to turning the gemstone into a centerpiece of the growing excitement surrounding Hope's new chapter. The sparkle of the diamond reflected the larger ambition driving everyone involved, a determination to make this debut impossible to ignore. While some people feared the consequences of what was coming, Bill focused entirely on the opportunities waiting ahead. His enthusiasm only added another layer of momentum to a story already racing toward a dramatic turning point. At the same time, Wyatt Spencer and Shauna Fulton found themselves celebrating victories of their own. Their jewelry line was officially moving forward at Logan, opening the door to exciting possibilities and rewarding their efforts in a meaningful way. For both Wyatt and Shauna, it was a moment of validation, proof that their hard work and creativity were paying off. The news brought a welcome sense of joy and optimism amid the growing tensions surrounding Hope's fashion debut. As celebrations began and dreams started taking shape, there was a feeling that a bright future might be waiting just around the corner. Yet even within those happy moments, the larger drama continued to build in the background. With Hope's fashion show only days away, Brooke still unaware of the truth, and the Logan family standing on the edge of a major emotional explosion, every storyline was rapidly converging toward a moment that promised shockwaves, heartbreak, triumph, and unforgettable consequences. The countdown had begun, and once the curtain finally rose on Hope's new collection, nothing in their world would ever be quite the same again. As the countdown to the fashion debut continued, the pressure surrounding Hope Logan Spencer intensified with every passing moment. What had once been an exciting professional opportunity was now transforming into a deeply personal, emotional battle, one that threatened to leave lasting scars long after the runway lights faded. Everywhere she turned, reminders of what was coming seemed impossible to escape. Design sketches, planning meetings, promotional discussions, and preparations for the upcoming show all pointed toward the same unavoidable reality. The truth was about to become public. Hope could feel the clock ticking louder with each passing day, and although she remained committed to moving forward, the fear buried deep within her heart refused to disappear. The closer she came to unveiling her collection, the more she imagined Brooke's reaction, and every possible scenario seemed more painful than the last. It was no longer a question of whether the confrontation would happen. The only mystery was how devastating the fallout would be once it finally arrived. Despite those fears, Katie Logan Spencer refused to allow uncertainty to overshadow what she viewed as a remarkable achievement. She saw talent, ambition, and courage in Hope's decision to forge a new path, and she believed those qualities deserved to be celebrated rather than hidden. Katie threw herself into preparations with relentless determination, making sure every detail reflected the significance of the moment. The upcoming fashion show was being positioned as a major event, one capable of capturing attention throughout the industry and establishing Hope's new chapter in unforgettable fashion. Every meeting reinforced Katie's confidence that they were building something special. To her, the future was filled with possibility, and she refused to let anyone, including Brooke, stand in the way of Hope's success. Yet beneath her confidence lingered an awareness that family emotions often refuse to follow logic. Even if she believed Brooke should eventually understand, she knew the path toward that understanding might be far more turbulent than anyone wanted to admit. Meanwhile, Brooke Logan Forrester remained completely unaware of the emotional earthquake heading directly toward her. Filled with optimism and hope, she continued imagining a future that simply did not exist. In her mind, Hope's return to Forrester Creations felt inevitable, a natural outcome she expected to celebrate sooner rather than later. The thought brought comfort and excitement, allowing Brooke to envision mother and daughter once again moving forward in perfect alignment. She spoke warmly about possibilities she believed were within reach, never suspecting that events behind the scenes had already rendered those dreams impossible. The tragic irony hung heavily over every moment. While Brooke looked ahead with confidence, the truth was quietly approaching from another direction, preparing to shatter expectations and replace them with shock. The distance between perception and reality had never been greater, and when those two worlds finally collided, the impact promised to be enormous. Caught between those opposing realities was Donna Logan Forrester, who could feel the tension building long before the inevitable confrontation occurred. She understood Brooke's hopes and dreams, but she also knew enough about the situation to recognize that disappointment was waiting around the corner. Every conversation became increasingly uncomfortable as Donna found herself balancing loyalty to her sisters while silently carrying knowledge that could change everything. She watched Brooke speak enthusiastically about the future and felt the growing weight of what remained unsaid. At the same time, she saw Katie's unwavering determination and recognized that there was no stopping what had already been set into motion. The closer everyone moved toward the fashion show, the more impossible it became to maintain the illusion. Donna could sense the approaching storm even if Brooke could not, and that awareness left her standing in one of the most difficult positions imaginable. Elsewhere, excitement continued building around Bill Spencer's latest publicity plans. The arrival of the Hope for the Future diamond had injected fresh energy into his ambitions, and his imagination was already racing toward ways to transform the gemstone into a symbol of Hope's exciting new beginning. Bill understood the power of spectacle better than most people. He knew that fashion thrived on attention, mystery, and unforgettable imagery, and the diamond offered all three. In his eyes, the gem represented more than luxury, it represented opportunity. Every promotional possibility seemed bigger than the last, and he relished the challenge of generating anticipation before the show even began. While others worried about emotional consequences, Bill focused on momentum, determined to ensure that Hope's debut became one of the most talked about events in recent memory. For Wyatt Spencer and Shauna Fulton, the atmosphere felt dramatically different. Instead of anxiety or uncertainty, they found themselves enjoying a moment of genuine celebration. The advancement of their jewelry line at Logan represented an important milestone, one that validated their creativity and hard work. The achievement filled them with optimism about the future and strengthened their belief that bigger opportunities still lay ahead. As they celebrated the good news, there was a sense of accomplishment that neither wanted to take for granted. Their success added another bright thread to the larger story unfolding around Logan, proving that while some relationships faced difficult tests, other dreams were finally becoming reality. In a world often dominated by conflict and heartbreak, their victory offered a welcome reminder that persistence sometimes leads to rewarding outcomes. Yet no amount of celebration could completely overshadow the dramatic events waiting just beyond the horizon. The fashion show continued drawing closer, and with each passing day, the tension surrounding Hope's secret became more difficult to contain. The press release would soon spread the news far and wide. Industry insiders would begin talking, questions would start circulating, rumors would gain momentum. Before long, the truth would find its way directly to Brooke, and when it did, years of trust, expectations, and family dynamics would suddenly be placed under intense pressure. Hope knew that moment was coming, and despite all her fears, she also understood something else. Some choices define a person's future forever. Some risks must be taken regardless of the consequences. As she prepared to step onto this new path, she carried equal amounts of determination and apprehension, knowing that success and heartbreak might arrive hand in hand. By the time the fashion world gathered to witness Hope's collection, every storyline would be racing toward the same destination. Dreams would be tested, relationships would face painful truths, loyalties would be questioned, new opportunities would emerge while old expectations crumbled. The excitement of a groundbreaking debut would exist side by side with the threat of emotional devastation, and standing at the center of it all would be Hope herself, preparing to reveal not only a new fashion vision, but also a new version of her own future. The stage was set, the countdown was nearly complete, and as anticipation spread through every corner of their world, one thing became increasingly clear. The moment Hope's collection finally took center stage, the lives of everyone connected to her would be changed forever.